Update 5.5 brought two new overpowered familiars to the game. And in today's video, we're going to be answering the question, which one is better, Burb or Black Spirit? Oh, and before we start, shout out to Monsoon at Migdeli for this information. It is all theirs, not mine. Alright guys, here we got the document from Monsoon. Again, I did have permission from this. I did not just go and steal information and claim it as my own. Anyways though, Virgil's DT bar is the main source DPS, and using Spirit maximizes it in game for DPS. If you came to this document to know which is better, in short, Burb is better, but only if you have 15% plus damage and positive range. But is this worth it compared to Burb's insane bonuses? Well, I'll be comparing the use of 100% Spirit, since that takes his DT attack requirement from 10 attacks to 5 attacks, including follow-ups, as well as using a 20% attack Burb, since that is the most successful and crits don't matter as much. I will also be ignoring elemental buffs, since both are able to have it. To begin, I'll be using a cascading success model for Virgil's follow-ups, as he essentially has a 100% crit chance to do 2 attacks, 85% to do 3, 60%, 70% of 85% to do 4, etc, etc. With the help of ChatGPT to model all the probabilities, since I would need to map out the chances of every single possibility of attacks. Example, chance of doing 4 followed up by 3, then 4, how it compares to one another. With this model calculated, we are given the following. As you can see right there, without spirits, 20% to enter DT in 2, 65% to enter DT in 3, and a 15% chance to enter DT in 4. So what this is saying is the majority of times without spirits, there's 65% chance to enter in 3 attacks. Now with the spirits, we have 34% to enter DT in 1 attack, 52% to enter DT in 2, and 13% to enter in 3 plus. So essentially, majority of the time it's going 2, and even potentially going to literally 1 attack. With these numbers, I will be then calculating the average uptime of DT for each with an SPA of 6 seconds, as well as taking into account that Virgil automatically attacks after leaving DT. There are your calculations right there. With this, we get an average uptime of 85% for Black Spirit and 72% for everything else. Now we need a basis to use these numbers, and by this, I mean that we need to give a weight to how much each uptime matters, as he still does damage when out of DT. Essentially, that's saying you can't just only consider what's happening inside of the DT, but also outside the DT. And if you don't know what DT is, again, it's just a bar at the top that once he gets full, he transforms into a full AoE overpowered unit. I'll be using a weight of 6x in this case, since he gains 3x more DPS in DT, as well as getting full AoE compared to a 135-degree cone. The 2x is arbitrary, since you can still hit a majority of enemies with the cone, but full AoE is still preferred. With this weight established, we can then calculate how much it affects the average DPS of Virgil by adding the uptimes, the weight with the downtime, times a weight of 1. This will then give us with the bottom equation ignoring weight and only caring about damage in DT. This makes Black Spirit average DPS increase for Virgil anywhere from 14% to 18%. And that's where you're considering the 6x times the DPS with the fact that Virgil in DT has full AoE and he gets damage bust. And then we move on to Burb, which is a lot more straightforward, being a simple 20% base damage increase, which translates to a 20% DPS increase. Adding on that Burb potentially as a range buff on top of a bonus DPS from crits, I can see that Burb, in my opinion, is objectively better on Virgil, and I do agree with Monsoon, so saying that, in my opinion, as first person reading this, I do agree. Because essentially, you see the numbers right here, Black Spirit 14% to 18%, but Burb is just a hard 20% damage increase. However, the only thing is that I guess you could say Dark Shadow is a lot easier accessible, because you can just buy from the shop as compared to Burb, which you actually have to get as a drop. And if you don't want to grind hard mode, it's a 1% drop. But yes, that's all the documents. Shout out to Monsoon again for it. Again, Burb is better than Dark Spirit if you have high damage increase and range increase. But pretty cool calculations here. Pretty cool calculations. Just make sure you know if you have that Burb, get it pretty good, put it on my boy Virgil so we can become an absolute unit. But that'll be all for the video, guys. Again, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Join my Discord server, give away 1,000 members, and join my Roblox group, because why not? Thank you guys, and peace out.